This is going to be a Pilates fusion class. Weights are optional, but you do not need them. Thank you so much for joining. Happy March. I will say the days are getting longer, as my mom would always say. The sun is still up right now, so that is an exciting thing. So let's get started. We're about 2 minutes past 6, so we'll go about 45 minutes. If you have a mat, you can just lay down on your back. If you don't have a mat, just lay down on your floor. Who else do we have here? Hi, Mabel. Hi, Callie. So just lay down on your back. Take a moment to just arrive in the present moment. So let your feet fall wherever they're comfortable. You can let your eyes fall closed if it's comfortable to you. And just take a few deep breaths to center yourself here. Put everything else aside for the next 45 minutes or so. Focus on your inhale slowly through the nose. Exhale, fully blow the air out through your mouth like you're blowing through a straw. So getting into our Pilates breath, we're going to try to use that throughout our practice. Inhale, feel the rib cage expand 360 degrees, front, side, and back. And then exhale, when you blow the air out, that audible exhale is for a purpose. It engages the deep abdominal muscles. So feel your rib cage pull back together. Abs tighten. Okay, and as you're lying here on your back, also, let's find our neutral spine. So take a few pelvic tilts forward and back. You can just tip your pelvis forward, tip your pelvis the other way, and then just feel those two extremes of the spine. So there's a little space between the low back and the floor. Arch your back, and then press your low back into the floor. Just feel those two extremes. It's a pretty small motion. Okay, just feeling those two extremes for yourself. And then settle in somewhere right in between those two extremes. So that is your neutral spine now. It's not arched, it's not tucked. There's the natural curve in the low back. Tailbone, rib cage, and head are grounded into the mat. Bring your arms just right alongside your body here. And now we're going to start with an articulating bridge. So start by tucking your tailbone under now. So kind of like that tuck we just did. Press the low back into the mat. And then try to get the lowest vertebra to peel up first. And then one bone at a time, you lift up to the top of your mat. Okay, at the top, reverse it. Put your rib cage down first. So one bone at a time on the way back down. Okay, so just take that at your own pace. We're trying to mobilize the spine as much as possible. So imagine the spine is like a string of beads on a necklace. And you're peeling the spine off the mat, or that imaginary necklace off the mat, one bead, one bone at a time. Okay, really drive through the heels of the feet to activate the back side of the body. Keep using your audible exhale, Pilates breath, audible exhale as you lift. Slow and control lower as you inhale. Option, you could bring your arms up towards the ceiling here. And if you do that, just really still focus on keeping the articulation of the back of that spine. It takes some surface area of your body off the mat, so it might be a little bit less stable. Really try to think about keeping the right and left hips moving up and down one equal line. Okay, and next one, hold at the top of your bridge. Hold here. Take your time getting there if you're not there already, and take a little pulse. Up an inch, down an inch. Feel the heel glute connection there. Just pulse it up and down. Nice job. Okay, good job for 3, 2, and then go ahead, lower down. Okay, reconnect into your neutral spine here. So now natural curve in the low back. And this time we'll take a flat back bridge or a neutral spine bridge. So instead of articulating through the spine, now we just hinge the hips up towards the ceiling and lower down. Here is where, if you wanted to add a weight, you could add a weight to your hips. You don't have to. Again, weights are totally optional today, but that would be where you add that extra challenge if you want. But this bridge, whether you have the weight or not, should feel different than the first one. Okay, so now we keep the natural curve in the low back. It's like you're holding a plank in your torso as you lift your hips up. and lower down. Breathe through it. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower again. If the weight's on your hips, probably stabilize the weight. If you don't have the weight, option would be to bring your arms up to the ceiling. The next one, hold at the top wherever you are and take that little pulse again. Just make sure your back is not arched. It's not tucked. You're in that natural curve still. Breathe for 4, 3, 2, and then go ahead, lower down. All right, from here, hug your knees into your chest. Curl your shoulder blades off of the mat. And we're going to take it right into our single leg stretch. So you're going to hug one knee into your chest, extend the other leg, and then switch sides. Okay, so take this at your own pace. Try to inhale as you switch. Exhale, settle into that single leg stretch every time. The goal is to have your shoulder blades up off the floor, low back pressing down into the mat, okay? And really move with your breath. Audible exhale to get deeper into that core. Challenge coordination a little bit is going to be to reach the same side hand to your ankle, the opposite side hand to your knee as you hug that knee in, and then switch, okay? So as I hug my left knee to my chest, I put my left hand on my ankle, right hand on my knee, and then you switch. But if that's just a little bit too much to focus on today, that is all good. Keep moving, keep breathing. Take breaks whenever you need it. We're going to turn this right into a crisscross now. So legs stay the same, but bring your hands behind your head, and we start to rotate. Opposite shoulder to opposite knee. Okay, keep up with your breath. Exhale, rotate. Inhale through center. Exhale, rotate the other way. Really try to keep your elbows open here. Try to, reach that elbow to the back of your mat as you open up to the side. Look almost behind you as you rotate. Good for 2 more. Take that last one and go ahead. Release it. Feet by the floor. You can take a quick windshield wiper. Side to side of those legs. Okay, and let's do one more thing here. So this time we're going to try legs straight. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor again. This time we're going to pull one leg straight into us and then switch from there. Kind of aiming for the calf or the ankle, wherever you can reach on your leg. If this doesn't work for you, just repeat your single leg stretch. Okay, if you're ready to go to that straight leg position, take it there. Really peel the shoulder blades up as high as you can and continue to breathe. If you're ready to add on, once again, the next thing is going to be to add a double exhale. So you're going to go, I don't know if you can hear me breathing in the microphone, but exhale, exhale, pull the leg in, exhale, exhale, and then you switch with a little double pull on the leg. Keep going there. I'm just going to check in to see how we're doing. It looks like you're all doing wonderful as far as I can see. Good job. Good for last 2. And go ahead, feet on the floor, windshield wiper the knees side to side. You can hug your knees into your chest now, and we're going to take a fun little exercise called rolling like a ball now. So you can start by simply just rolling up and down the length of your spine on the mat like a ball. If this causes any pain for you, don't do it. Okay, you can just instead hold a boat pose right now. If you're doing rolling like a ball, the challenge is to get to the top, balance right on your tailbone, and then at the top, find a C curve, a deep C curve in your spine, and control that roll down. Suspend at the top every time. Okay, at the top, if you need a little bit of help with balance, you can tap your toes down to the floor. Okay, hands can also be on the side of you for a little bit of support on the mat. If you're up for that challenge, maybe you come up to that full position with your legs extended at the top. Now you do what works best for you here, but keep breathing. We're just going to do one more. Stay seated and then cross the legs in front of you. Come to hands and knees now. So Tabletop position to start. Wrists right underneath shoulders, knees right underneath hips. We're going to take a few rounds of cat. In Pilates, we're only going to do the cat, right? So curl your back to the ceiling like you're an angry cat. Look to your belly button and then come back to neutral. Okay, so we're trying to find that C curve in the back. See if you can match this with your breath. Exhale to cat. Crunch in the low back. And then just return to neutral. No cow in Pilates, right? Just the cat. C curve. Feel the belly button pulling to the spine. Imagine maybe there's a string on the middle of your spine pulling your back to the ceiling to get you deeper into that curve. One more. And then just hold neutral. So now there's that natural curve in your low back. From here, tuck your toes under, hover your knees, and just breathe. Feel the abs turn on. Look to the top of your mat so that your neck is an extension of your spine. And now from here, we're going to walk from puppy to plank. This is like my favorite thing to do. I've done it in every class. I hope you guys aren't sick of it. But we're just going to step back to plank, and then back to puppy. If you think about it, alternate legs. If you don't think about it, it's not the end of the world. But basically, we just want to step from that position where our knees are right underneath our hips, back to plank without lifting anything from the hips up, right? That sets you up into a perfect plank position. Keep the gaze to the top of your mat. Neck long, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, next time you're in plank, hold it there. Feet back in plank. Walk your hands back to your feet. Bend your knees, slowly roll up. Last thing to come up is the head. Okay, from here, we're going to take our Pilates push-ups, which start with a roll down, okay? So we're going to inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, imagine you're diving over a barrel. Remember that angry cat position we just found on the floor. See if you can find that deep C curve in your spine as you roll down. Pull your belly button to the spine. Finally, when your hands touch the mat, walk out into your plank position. 3 push-ups at the bottom. I'm going to show you your options. Option 1, knees right underneath your hips. Elbows go back alongside your body. Focus on the form of the upper body. Option 2, kneeling plank position. Knees are a little bit further back. Option 3, you're on your toes. Whatever is going to allow you to have good form in the upper body. After 3, you walk your hands back to your feet. And then reverse that C curve, right? Imagine you're pulling your belly button to your spine, going through that same position to get back up to a standing position. Good, and then at the top, we go down again. This time option, you can come up to your toes for a little challenge. You try to dive over that barrel up on your toes now. Now there's that little balance component. Can you hover in the air, suspend, try to wait for your hands to touch the floor as long as you can, and then finally when you get there, you walk out to plank. Take those 3 push-ups at your own pace, no rush. Move with your breath, big exhale every time you push up. And then you walk your hands back to your feet. Same thing, challenge, come up to your toes, and can you reverse on the way up, maybe wobble around. But take whatever option works best for you. We're going to do that all one more time. Okay, go at your own pace. You're going to roll all the way down. He's like, I don't know what you're doing. So 3 push-ups. And then this time, you're going to walk your hands back to your feet one more time to get to a standing position. Take that roll up as slow as you possibly can. Slow, slow, slow. Maybe struggle with your balance like me. It doesn't always have to be perfect. Okay, and then release it. We're going to stay standing and do a little squat series. If you have weights, feel free to grab them. If you don't have them, body weight is perfectly fine. That's honestly where I'm going to start. Feet are right outside the hips. We're just going to squat down and up. Last week, we kind of did Pilates to the beat of the music. This week, we're just going to focus on moving with our breath. So no worries about that. Just get the form down. Take a peek down. Make sure your knees are going in line with that second toe. Chest up nice and tall. If you have the weights, they can be at your chest, at your hips, wherever they're comfortable. Inhale, lower down. Exhale. Can you keep the Pilates breath even as we're doing more of a strength focus section? right? Big exhale as you stand, blow the air out through your mouth to engage the deep core muscles. Whether you have weights or not, let's start to add a reach to the floor and a reach up overhead. Okay, so if you have the weights, you can reach to the floor, bicep curl, overhead press. Okay. Nice job. But if you do have those weights, feel free to drop them at any point. And if you don't have weights, maybe you take that as an opportunity to just go really slow. The slower you go, the longer your muscles are under tension, the harder they're working. Okay, wherever you are, next one, we're gonna hold in our squat. Hold low, chest up tall, weight in the heels of the feet. From here, can you step your feet together? Stay low in a narrow squat. Step back out to the side. Feet to come together the other way. Step to the side. So we're gonna just step feet together, narrow squat, feet to the side, normal squat, side to side. Just like that, kind of like a pulse. Every time getting the weight into the heels of the feet. Breathing through it. You can shake out the legs at any point if you need to. Nice job. Next one, whenever you're in that narrow squat position, again, hold narrow squat low. From here, can you lift up onto one toe and then the other toe? So coming up, bar, we would call that our releve. Lifting one heel at a time, staying low in the legs. Whew, breathing through it. With or without the weights. I'm starting to feel it. Hopefully you are too. We have just 4 more. For 3. We add that little pulse, last 2. And go ahead. Stand it up. Put the weights to the side. Come to the back of your mat. And let's just go through one more round of that roll down. And then we'll be done with our Pilates push-ups, okay? Arms up to the ceiling. Dive over that imaginary barrel from the toes or flat feet. Either way, suspend in the air as long as you can. Walk out. Bonus 3 push-ups if you want. Wherever you are, make your way to a child's pose this time. So you'll drop your knees to the floor. Sink your hips to your heels. And just catch your breath. Okay, roll out your wrists for a second. Get ready to put a little bit of weight on the wrists. Okay, just so that you're prepared for later on. If you do have the weights, bring them kind of to the top of your mat to either side. If you don't have them, no worries. We're just gonna come to hands and knees position. Let's start by lifting the right leg up into a donkey kick. Okay, I think you can see me this way. Yeah, that looks okay. Let's turn to the side so you can see me. Flex your foot to the ceiling, knee stays bent, donkey kick. Okay, as we do this, if we're moving our right leg, see if you can lift out of the left hip on the ground. Use your core to stay centered. At the top of the donkey kick, make sure you still just have the natural curve of your low back. We don't want to hyperextend. We just want to get to the top, squeeze the glute, and then come back down. You're pulling your belly button to your spine the whole time. Looking to the top of the mat. Again, neck is an extension of the spine. Feel one long line from the tailbone through the crown of the head. If you have the weight and you want to challenge, you can always put the weight behind your knee here to just create a little bit extra resistance if you want it. But keep it slow. Only go as fast as your breath. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. For 2 more. Next one, hold the donkey kick at the top and do a little pulse of the leg. Knee stays bent, flex the foot, and stamp the foot on the ceiling. Again, can you shift to the center a little bit more? Lift out of the leg that's on the floor. Hips are square to the floor for 4, 3, 2, and go ahead. Lower down, take that weight away if you have it. We're gonna stay on the same leg, so right leg extends. Now, again, without shifting side to side, can we lift the left arm now? Opposite arm and leg. We're just going to balance. Use your core to stay as centered as you can. Let's add some movement here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, drive elbow and knee together into our bird dog. Okay? As you reach long, We're looking for the natural curve in the low back. Make sure we're not hyperextending. When you bring the elbow and knee together, can you get into that cat that we practiced before? Get into that C curve. Pull the belly button to the spine. And again, blow the air out through your mouth. Feel that engage the deep core muscles. For just 2 more. Next one, find arm and leg long. Hold there and see if you can just lift everything up to the ceiling. Up an inch, down an inch. Lift out of the leg that's on the floor. We're here for 4, 3, 2. Arm comes down, leg stays lifted. Now turn your left toes off the side of your mat. We're opening up into this side position. So we come from hands and knees, so your knee is still underneath your hip, wrist still underneath the shoulder. But now lift this leg to hip height. Try to find one long line from the heel of the foot to the crown of the head. Top hand can be on your hip or up to the ceiling. Okay? From here, just engage the core. Try to get everything from the hips up as still as you can. As we start to kick the leg forward a couple inches, come back through center, and then kick the leg behind you just a couple inches. Only go as far as you can without letting anything from the hips up move. You're trying to stay as still as possible. Okay, if this kneeling situation isn't working for you, your option would be side on your hip. You could also come all the way down onto your side. Okay, but if you choose either of those options, you still want to stay active. See if you can lift the left side body away from the floor wherever you are. Okay, so if you're up in this hands and knees position like me, can you push out of that left arm, push the floor away, lift out of the shoulder and left side body. Okay, next one, hold the leg center, point the toe and draw little circles. Ooh, it just never gets easier. Feeling the outer glute and thigh, I shake every single time. Go ahead, change directions. Again, can you keep everything from the hips up? Nice and still for 4, 3, 2. Okay, transition here. Keep the right leg lifted and turn back to the top of your mat. Plant the right foot down. Grab your weights if you want it. We're gonna come up into a lunge position. Okay, so if you didn't get that, just make sure you're standing now, okay? We're gonna lunge down and up with or without those weights. So whichever leg was just up in the air behind you is now on the ground in front of you. I'll grab my weights. Okay. So this is just another strength component where you want to focus on going slow with your breath. At the bottom of the movement, aiming for 2 90-degree angles in the knees. So think you're driving the back knee straight down to the floor and back up. Weight in that front heel, lift it up onto the back toes the whole time. You want to go straight down, straight up. Imagine you are riding an elevator and not an escalator, okay? If that visual makes sense. We're going straight down and not forward and back. Okay, next one, hold at the bottom of your lunge. Take a little pulse. Up an inch, down an inch, weight in the heel of that front foot. If you just want that added arm challenge, if you have the weights, you could go to a shoulder press position and pulse those weights up for 4, 3, 2, go ahead. Shift your weight towards the front leg. Back leg is now like a kickstand. We're gonna go into a single leg deadlift on the same leg. Slight bend in the front leg. If you're still with me, we have right leg forward, but you do you. We're gonna go single leg deadlift. Back leg's gonna come up into the air, balance. Whether you have the weights or not, keep your hands close to the front of your legs. You're driving the arms down, sliding the arms and hands just till they get to the middle of your shin. And then stand up, weight comes in the heel of your foot. Option, back foot can be like a kickstand the whole time, okay? This is a time to slow it down, really focus on your balance, okay? Check in. Can you pull the belly button to the spine? Throughout the entire movement, we have that natural curve in the low back. And you take the option that works for you. Leg up, leg down, with or without weights. Wherever you are, can you keep the hips square to the top of your mat or to wherever you are, to the wall in front of you? Hips are square. So that means if you're lifting your back leg, Try not to let the toes turn out to the side. All 5 toes face the floor. To feel that front leg, glute, and hamstring a little bit more, keep the front knee bent, weight in the heel of that foot. Okay, after this next one, we're gonna make a little combo. So now you step back into your lunge, shift your weight forward, one single leg deadlift. So I don't know about you, but that front leg, that front glute is starting to get all the work for me because we worked it in quadruped, hands and knees, and now we're working it up here in this standing position as well. Go slow. Honestly, the slower the better. Again, especially for that deadlift. Just challenge your balance. As slow as you can. Ooh. It's okay to wobble. I do it too. Not that serious. Never that serious. You guys are doing great. Just take one more. And then meet me in that lunge position. Meet at the bottom. Put your weights to the side if you have them. Another transition. Hands come down. Back knee comes down. Front leg becomes the back leg. You stick it to the back of your mat. And we're going all the way down into a side lying position now. Okay, maybe you pad out that top glute if you need it. Cross the top leg in front of you. Rest your head down on your forearm, and we're gonna take inner thigh now. Flex the bottom foot and go with your breath. Exhale, lift the leg up. Inhale, lower. Option if the leg in front of you doesn't feel good, you can bring the leg behind you, but make sure the hips don't roll open if you do that. You still are trying to keep the top hip stacked on top of the bottom. So for me, the leg in front is a little more doable for me, but you do what works for you. Keep that bottom leg active, flex the foot, find length in the back of the knee. And now challenge as we work the inner thigh, can you check in with the torso? Your head is down on your forearm so that you can find one long line from the tailbone to the crown of the head. And then see if you can lift bottom few ribs away from the floor so that you're nice and active in that torso. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower leg is moving through something slow and sticky like peanut butter. There's resistance in both directions. Next one, hold at the top. Flex your foot more and take a little pulse up an inch, down an inch. Imagine there's a string on the inside of your ankle, pulling your leg up to the ceiling like a puppet on a string. For 4, 3, 2, and then go ahead. Release it. Lay down onto your stomach from here. Okay. On our stomach now, let's just extend arms and legs to opposite sides of the room. Tuck your chin, look at the floor. And we're going to start to lift opposite arm and leg up towards the ceiling. And then lower back down. Take that at your own pace, alternating sides. Trying to keep that arm and leg nice and straight. As the opposite arm and leg lift, can you reach opposite ways? Fingertips are reaching forward, toes are reaching back. There's one long line between that arm and leg. And challenge. Can we get a little bit active in the torso? Imagine there's a grape underneath your belly button. Can you just become a little bit more active in the core, in that torso? And next layer, another thing that can make it more active is going to be before you lift your arm and leg off the ground, the hand that's staying on the floor, can you ground down, press that arm and hand down into the ground and then lift the other arm and leg away. Come back down, then you'll switch sides. Press down into the floor, feel the engagement in the upper back, and then lift the arm and leg away, right? So what we're doing now, all of those extra layers, if you're able to add them on, that's very different than just going opposite arm and leg. That's honestly kind of easy, right? Which is what I say sometimes, you know, if someone leaves a Pilates class feeling like it was easy, I'm like, well, maybe I could have done something better to try to explain things better, but truly, if you're doing it in the proper form, I would be surprised if you leave a class feeling like it's easy because it's very active, very intentional. Okay, wherever you are, just for a fun little finisher, lift all limbs off the floor and take a little swim. Tuck the chin, look at the floor, holding in the low back. Breathe for 4, 3, 2, and then go ahead, release it. Take a child's pose, release the low back. Take a breath. Also, feel free to grab water whenever you need it. I won't always say it, but by all means, drink your water. And then as you're ready, come back up to hands and knees. Just we're gonna do donkey kicks on the other side. So if you're with me, that's left leg lifting. If you did your other side, just make sure you're even by the end of the workout, okay? So let's talk about starting position. If you're already in that donkey kick, you can keep going, but as much as we can, remember, we want to try to lift out of the leg that's on the floor. So shift your weight back to the center a little bit more. Keep that left hip square to the floor. Make sure the hip is not opening up here. And again, that range of motion at the top, you just have the natural curve of the low back. Make sure we don't hyperextend. Remember, your option with the weight would be to put the weight behind the knee if you want. You make this whatever type of workout you want to get tonight, right? If you're just moving your body, breathing, and here to vibe, you do you. It's all good. If you're here to really challenge yourself, try that weight. Also, if you had ankle weights or something like that, that would be a good thing maybe. But we're working with what we got here. If you're going body weight, it can, again, still be super effective if you just slow it down. Think about what you're doing. Exhale, lift. Imagine your leg is moving. Like 50 pounds of weight is on your foot, and you have to really press against some sort of resistance, right? That changes it a little bit. Okay, next one, hold at the top. Take a little pulse. Stamp the foot on the ceiling. Checking, can you lift out of that leg that's on the floor? Breathe. Neck is an extension of your spine for 4, 3, 2, and go ahead. Take a hot second to take a break, but not long. Break is already over. Same leg is lifted, straighten it behind you. And now opposite arm and leg are gonna be extended, going into our bird dog. Find your balance first, as much as you can. Again, try to lift out of the hip that is still on the mat. Just balance to start. Can you get the natural curve of the low back? See, my tendency is to arch a little bit, so I have to really think about pulling the low belly in, finding that natural curve. Okay, from here, let's add that movement. Inhale, reach longer. Exhale, elbow and knee together. Okay, inhale, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, can you find that cat position as the elbow and knee come together? Reach fingertips and toes to opposite sides of the room. Find that length. And then really find that core engagement. Pull the back up to the ceiling as much as you can. And repeat for 2 more. Okay, next time arm and legs are extended, hold arm and leg long. And take a little lift, little lower. Check in with the low back, natural curve. Pull that low belly up and in for 4, 3, 2. Keep the leg lifted, hand comes down. Turn your right toes off the mat or whichever side you're on. We're opening up into that side facing position. Flex the top leg, or top foot rather, and just feel that long line from the heel of the foot to the crown of the head. Okay, try to keep everything from the waist up as still as you can. Start to kick the leg forward. Come back through center. Only go behind you as far as you can before the torso starts to move, right? So it's okay if it's like an inch or less. We just imagine we're floating the leg over the surface of a table. Try not to lift or lower. It's just forward and back. Going as slow as you can. Again, you have the option to come down onto your hip or full side lying position. Do, I would say, whatever you did on the other side. Do it here as well. Ooh, and if you're feeling the bottom leg, like I am, I would say that is definitely not wrong. The bottom leg is stabilizing us, and we worked it pretty hard on the other side. So if that's where you're feeling it too, I am with you. Next one, let's hold the leg long, point the toe, and now draw those circles. Just think the size of a grapefruit. Keep everything from the waist up as still as you can. Breathe in through the nose, blow it out through the mouth for 4, 3, 2. Change directions. Keep breathing. Can you lift out of the shoulder that's on the floor? Lift the right side body away from the mat for 4, 3, 2, and go ahead. Hand comes down. Swing that back leg all the way in front of you to come up into your lunge position with or without the weight. Whatever leg was just back in the air is now the front leg of our lunge. Take it at your own pace. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, drive through the heel of that front foot. Second side. Now you know all of that good form, so remember it from the other side. 2 90-degree bends at the bottom of the movement in the knees. Weight is in the front heel, the back toes. We're going straight up, straight down, not forward and back. So another visual is like a little horse on one of those carousels that you would see at a fair or something. They go straight up and down because there's a pole running through them. They can't go forward and back. So you can kind of think of your body as that. Go slow. Inhale, lower down. Exhale. Come on up. Again, if you have the weights and you wanted to do something with your arms here, you can maybe add a bicep curl. Or maybe you want more shoulders, so then you add a shoulder press. I'm gonna leave that up to your own discretion, okay? And if you don't have the weights, again, great. You just get to focus on the legs even more. Think about what you're doing. Go slower and focus into that front glute. For 2 more. Next one, hold low and pulse it down. Weight in that front heel, breathe for 4, 3, 2, and then go ahead, stand up. Shift your weight into the front leg. Single leg deadlift. Options, back toes can stay down as you hinge at the hips. And then stand back up. If you're up for that balance challenge, back leg lifts and you lower down from there. Okay? Now, with or without the weights, if you don't have the weights, can you just hang your arms in front of you? You can almost just brush the fingertips along the front of your body. Imagine you have the weights. Bring your hands right to the center of your shin and then stand back up. You will feel that front glute more if you can keep the knee bent and get the weight into the heel of the foot, okay? We're not just folding forward. Again, back leg can be a kickstand if you need it. Keep your hips square to the short edge of your mat. All 5 toes of that back foot stay looking at the mat. Try not to turn the hip out. And you know what, everybody, time is flying. We are in our last, less than 5 minutes, I would say, of work, and then we're gonna stretch. So stick with it. Take one more slow deadlift, just like this. And then put the back foot back down. We'll make that combo of 1 lunge, hinge forward, weight into that front leg, 1 deadlift. So nice and slow, really burning out that front glute. Again, it's up to you to get the weight in the heel of your foot. And go slow, focus on what you're doing. The more you focus, the more effective it's gonna be, right? It's a mind-body connection, mind-body practice. It's good to move through it. You will get benefits from just going through it mindlessly, but the more mindful we can be, the better. Okay. 1 more at your own pace, as slow as you can. 1 more deadlift, and then meet me back in that lunge. I'll meet you there at the bottom. Hold at the bottom. If you have the weights, put them to the side. Plant your hands. Step the front foot all the way to the back of your mat. Open back up to the same side you were on and lay all the way down onto your side. For the other side of inner thighs, okay? Lay your head down on your forearm. Cross that front leg up and over. Maybe give the glute a well-deserved pat before we start moving. And now inner thigh. Flex that bottom foot and lift. Up towards the ceiling. Lower back down. Okay, as we do this, again, look at my foot. That is gross, skirty. Okay, lift the bottom of your ribs away from the floor. Again, it's going to be more active, more of a full body movement if you can think. Pull those ribs away. Again, top foot can be behind you, but really try to keep that top hip rolled forward. stacked on the bottom hip. That does not work the best for me, but you know your body best. Move with your breath. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Keep the back of the knee nice and straight. Find length in the back of the knee. Keep the foot flexed, leg nice and active. For 4 more. Check in with the bottom few ribs. So much to think about. Okay, next one. Hold at the top and take your little pulse. Up an inch, down an inch. Can you flex the foot a little bit more? Breathe through. For 4, 3, 2, and then go ahead. Roll back onto your stomach. Let's just take a child's pose to stretch out the glutes after all of that. Sink your hips to your heels, arms forward. Take a breath. Maybe notice if your body feels different than when you started class. Maybe your heart rate's up a little bit now. Your body's nice and warm. All right, and then as you're ready, let's just come to hands and knees one more time. One more little plank challenge, and we'll move on, okay? To our stretch, last little bit. Starting position, wrists right underneath shoulders, knees right underneath hips. Again, neutral spine, you're not arched or tucked either way. Tuck your toes under, hover your knees. Here we are in puppy position. Use this position to get you into your perfect plank. Step back into your plank and hold right away. Hold your plank. Option, take it to a kneeling plank at any point. Just hold and breathe. Look to the top of your mat. Trying to keep everything from your hips up as still as possible. Go slow. Lift one leg up to the ceiling. Lower it back down. Other leg up to the ceiling. So this is another thing similar to when we were on our stomach. If you're just lifting your leg and kind of wobbling all around, it's like, that's kind of easy. We see people doing that in the gym all the time. If you can slow it down, focus on what you're doing. Keep everything from the hips up as still as you can. You're balancing a full bowl of soup on your back, whatever you want to imagine, but like it's about to spill over the top and pretend it's like burning hot liquid and you don't want to have that liquid burn you. You have to stay nice and still. Looks the same from the knees. Good, and then wherever you are, take your child's pose. Good job. Knees come to the mat. Roll out those wrists if you need it. Okay, let's just go ahead and stretch a little bit here. So come back to hands and knees. Right away, we'll go into a runner's lunge. So bring one foot forward. Hands can stay on the ground here. Or go ahead, reach same arm as back leg up overhead and across the midline of the body. Feel that big stretch in the back hip flexor. You can stay here, or if you turn towards the front leg, get a little twist. You might feel that. Stretch a little deeper, either in your back or wherever you're tight, maybe side body or that hip flexor. Good, untwist here and then straighten the front leg. Flex the toes towards the face and fold forward for a hamstring stretch. You could take a gentle turn in and turn out of that foot. Find the part of your hamstring that needs that stretch. But just give yourself these last couple minutes to stretch as much as you can. Just stay in the present moment, which can be hard to do sometimes, but just bring your mind back to your breath whenever you can. Inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. You have these few minutes for yourself and nothing else. There's nothing else you need to do right now. Go ahead, shift your weight forward. Other side. Hip flexor stretch. Stay in a runner's lunge or feel free to bring same arm as back leg up overhead and across the midline of the body. Feel free to stay here again or make it your own if you want to turn to the front leg if that feels good. No right or wrong way to stretch, really. Okay, nice. From here, straighten the front leg, flex the toes towards the face, and fold forward. Hamstring stretch. Again, feel free to turn the foot in, turn the foot out. Another deep breath or two here. Okay, good. And then step into that front leg, come up to a standing position. Let's just reach the arms up overhead, grab one wrist as you inhale. Exhale, pull to one side. Side body stretch here. Inhale your arms through center. Exhale, grab your other wrist, pull to the side. Inhale through center again. Exhale, cactus your arms, open that chest. Little back bend if it feels good. Maybe arms out to the side, thumbs up to the ceiling or to the ground. Just let your body take a little yawn. Inhale, reach your arms back up to the ceiling. Exhale, palms go forward. Round your back for a little stretch in that back. And then release it, arms up to the ceiling. One more big inhale and exhale, and we'll be all done. Inhale, up overhead. And exhale, I like to shake it out. You don't have to, but thank you all so much for coming.